everybody, and welcome along to the VSR and PSGL F1 2021 Invitational on the PC side. We've invited some of the best upcoming esports talent, as well as some F1 esports drivers, to race around Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and a track that's produced an incredible finale on PC last season, where we saw one of our participants from last season actually took the race win here. More to come later on. My name is Jess, one of your commentators for tonight, and joining me in the commentary box, we haven't been in the commentary box for a long time, 4 months since we last commentated together, it's Mr. Daniel Field. How are you doing tonight, Dan?
Been brilliant as always, and it is a pleasure to be back in the commentary box with you. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been 4 months, and I'm so excited for this event to get underway. One of the biggest teams partnering up with arguably the biggest F1 league on all platforms. So it's going to be a brilliant event for all these drivers tonight to really get stuck in, I'd say, just into the new game and really prove themselves against each other.
Yeah, exactly. We're in Interlagos tonight. The track was built in 1940 and hosted the Formula 1 World Championship in 1973. The track has changed quite a lot since then. It returned to a safer, shorter circuit in 1990. Now, the lobby will be starting very, very soon, but before we start, I think we should go through all of our 20 drivers that will be racing tonight. Some of them VSR drivers, some of them upcoming esports talent from other esports teams, and some of them we got some F1 esports drivers. So we got quite a caliber of drivers, and it's a no assist tier tonight, which means no assist at all. And arguably, pretty much nearly all of them could be in F1 on their day, but we will see, of course. So we will go through the lineup for you then. Hopefully you guys can see it on the screen. So in the Mercedes tonight, we've got Lenny and Jari. They're both from Shizuzu, and they've been looking very, very quick on the latest game at the moment. So great to have them on board. In the Red Bull, we have one of our VSR drivers, Prinens, who's making his debut on PC, even though he's been on PS4 quite a few times. Great to have him here. And we got Zones, also known as Piotr Stakulek. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but they're both in the Red Bull. In the McLaren, we have Shizuzu driver Felipe, and we also got Chanakinchi as well, who's also looked quick on the game as well and been looking good in the socials in the past. In the Aston Martin, we have Mr. Anker, who is a VSR driver, and we have the good old Dylan Warren. A lot of people are fans of Dylan Warren, including myself as well. And we have Ruben Vallejo and Jorpa in the Alpine. Ruben Vallejo we'll talk a little bit more about later on. And we got 2 VSR drivers in the Ferrari with Paris Burrell and Andreas Dormeyer. In the AlphaTauri, we've got Samuel Bean, who hopefully his PC should be there. If not, we'll have 19 drivers. But in the AlphaTauri, we don't have Dario tonight, but we have Oscar Villacampa. In the Alfa Romeo, we have F1 esports driver in the Alfa Romeo, Simon Shooter. And we have Jay Verhage in the Alfa Romeo with him representing them. In the Haas, we have Bryn. And we have Dominic, who is actually in Xbox League last season, or the season before, I can't remember what it was. So great to have those two on board. Bryn looking very good on the game as well. And in the Williams, another driver that was looking good in the last social race, Ruben Petronio, and F1 esports driver himself, Alvaro Caraton, who actually won the PSGL race in Brazil in season 28, so definitely one to watch out for. So we have some good drivers out there tonight, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these drivers are they are esports and esports caliber. You know, you've got the actual esports drivers of Time and Shooter and Alvaro Caraton. Those two, you'd say they are tipped to be the favourites to win this race tonight. I actually went into Alvaro's stream chat over on Twitch just before we got live, and I wished him luck in the race. And he said that, I might get this quote slightly wrong, but he said, hopefully you can commentate on a win from me tonight. And given his track record in PSGL at this track, it is hard to doubt him.
Yeah, it is as well. And he definitely wants to win. He's proven that he could win before in PSGL and obviously in the Pro Series as well. So he's going to expect nothing less, I think, tonight. He's got a point to prove that he's one of the best drivers as well. And there's some upcoming talent that are looking to knock him off his perch, really. We've got people that'll be going to F1 esports in the future, and arguably people that could go into it maybe next year. Some of them, like Ruben Vallejo, for example, Challenger Series driver on F1 2020. So he is a good driver as well, who had experience in the Challenger Series. And obviously we got other drivers who almost quite made the Challengers but could make it next season as well. So should be very, very exciting. And obviously we got drivers that are too young to be in F1 esports yet, but should be in F1 esports very, very soon. So without further ado, we are going to go straight into qualifying. And we just had a confirmation that unfortunately Samuel Bean can't make it. His PC has unfortunately been playing up. But that's a bit of a shame. Hopefully he'll be back in the social race on Thursday, which Dan will be commentating on, I believe. So hopefully we get to see his racing then. But almost everybody is out on the circuit. So let me get switching over to the action now. Yeah, almost everyone out on the circuit. And quite a lot of people on the mediums early on, Dan.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers looking to go onto the medium tyres to get the better strategy coming into the race. I believe the furthest driver up on circuit at the moment who is on the medium tyres has actually just begun his lap, and that is esports driver and PSGL race winner at this circuit on PC Season 28, Alvaro Carreton. He's just coming through the centre S's right now, and some of the way that these guys drive, it's absolutely mesmerising, just how they hit every single apex perfectly, and it's almost like watching a painter do their work, and he's looking really strong in this lap already through the first sector.
Yeah, he is heading towards turn 4 now, where you could use it to overtake as well. Going up the hill, heading towards turn 5 and 6. Now, the tyre navigation is quite similar to last year's game on F1 2020, but obviously you can't change your fuel compared to the last game as well. The soft tyres can last about 16 laps around here. And if you want to do the medium to soft strat, you can do 20 laps. So I wonder if people would go on the alternate strategy, as it's proven to work in many races on the PC platform in the past then. So Alvaro Carreton then passes Young Sao, and I think it's going to be a very good banker lap for the esports driver then as well. Looking to show us what he's made of once again. Don't forget, it's preset only again this week, and it's a 106.5, but I'm sure people can go a lot quicker than that, but it's a very good benchmark to start the qualifying session.
Yeah, you see Shazoo Dominic's just crossed the line on a set of the soft compounder tyres, and he wasn't able to beat Alvaro Carreton's medium run, so looking really strong so far. Prinens does go to the top of the timing at the moment on the set of the soft compounder tyres, a 106.186, a really impressive time from him. Immediately blown out of the water by Timon Shooter, and this is the driver we have to look out for in this series today and in this race, because he has got a bright future ahead of him with Alfa Romeo in F1 esports, and well, that is really putting down his marker with that good time right there.
He was a VSR driver before he got moved. Well, he decided that he wanted a new challenge at CRG, and to be honest, he did quite well in CRG, and then in the challenges he did brilliantly as well, battling with the likes of Faster Racer as well, and he was able to impress the Alfa Romeo boys and get an esports seat with them as well, with the like of Preschnader and Simon Vigan as well, which is a really strong team as well, and I'm sure Simon can learn a lot from them, as does a lot of these drivers as well, who have bright futures. And obviously we don't know who is in any esports team at the moment confirmed for the final seat in terms of who's got it from the pro draft. I think we'll find it towards the end of July. So who knows, the names you can see on your screen right now could be the ones that you'll be seeing on your screens in the Pro Series in October time. And there are some names I'm hoping to be there, of course. Ruben Vallejo, for example, I really do hope he does get a seat there. He has a bright future as well, and lots of other promising drivers as well. And the other Alfa Romeo driver, showing that the Alfa Romeo boys are very strong tonight, and he's put himself up into P4. He was a bit worried going into the race today that he's going up against some esports sweats, but I told him before the race tonight just to have some fun and show the guys what you're made of, because don't forget the tiers have not been decided yet, and this is a nice warm-up for the guys ready for next season, and this could show the directors that they deserve to be in any one of the top 2 tiers on PSGL, and even the second tier PSGL PC is going to be absolutely stacked by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, this race doesn't really have an imposition onto where the drivers will actually be come the actual season when season 29 gets underway, of course. So it is really just the point to have fun for some of these guys, and I think once they get into that mindset that this isn't a proper competitive race, it is still a very high caliber grid, but they do need to just take a step back a little bit and just relax a bit, because this is a bit of fun. And I'd say Jay has done really well to take that to heart, because he's done a really strong time, and I'd say that is just him driving really just the way he wants to, and not having to put too much pressure on his shoulders. So it's really good to see that he has gone into P4, and he's not too far off of his Alfa Romeo teammate. But a couple more drivers are on their runs at the moment. One of them is Kanakinchi, and this is a driver who we do need to watch out for a potential F1 seat next season. Of course, he was really strong in season 28, the first PC tier, and I believe a couple of qualifying sessions as well. He did finish at the sharp end, and I believe he topped one of the sessions at some point throughout the season. So he's looking really strong coming onto this game, and he's looked really strong on this lap as well. He's just coming up through Jun Sao in the third sector, and he's looked really nice and tidy on this lap in the McLaren car to come up to the line, sticking it to the left-hand side. And where's he going to go? He's going to go to the top ahead of Time and Shooter. What a lap from the young Turkish driver, 105.804. That is going to be tough to beat.
I first met Kanakinchi during the F1 2019 games as well. And when I saw him race for the first time, I asked exactly the same question as probably what some people were thinking back then. Are you going to go into F1 esports? Kanakinchi was not really that sure then as well. But in the F1 2020 game, we saw him go quicker and even quicker. And he ended up joining the big leagues as well, and showed that he is a force to be reckoned with. He's been picked up by some esports teams. That definitely shows that obviously they deserve to be there. And if he's not in the Challenger Series this season for F1 2021, then I don't know why he won't be. And I'm sure he will be fighting near the top. I'm almost certain of that. Maybe even more potentially if some of the teams see his potential, maybe going into next season. But we will find out as well. Yari Fitz as well, just about to finish his lap as well. Ruben Petrenio as well in second position, just beating Simon Shooter as well. Ruben Petrenio also looked good in the PC tier last season, switched over from the PlayStation, also did a bit of F2 on the PlayStation side, and he's had a bit of a spin there, but he was on his in lap, so it was all good. But look at this, another driver to watch out for at the moment. Zones, also known as Piotr Stakale in P2, 105.8, and if you were looking at the VSR Twitter, and if you want to follow VSR on Twitter, it is at Visual Racing. We did point out some drivers to watch out for, and he was one of them. Just to quick mention on his caliber at the moment, he took part in the FNL Esports Ignition Series with his team Shazoo, and he's coming into tonight with some great momentum. He helped Team Shazoo take the overall win, and he took so many poles, so many victories. He looked so dominant. He was also the drivers' champion in that league as well. He could be another driver that could be on the esports scene even sooner than we think. So if there's any esports teams that are watching, F1 esports teams, he is someone to watch out for.
Yep, other drivers to watch out for. Ruben Vallejo's just gone up into second position, and it was a really strong time from him, a 105.779, but it is not close enough to take pole position provisionally, because about 1.5 tenths ahead of him is Alvaro Caraton. And when he did his first lap on the set of the medium compound tires, and he did done in second on the set of the soft, and he's blown everyone completely out of the water, and he is clear by quite some margin already. And I'd imagine, given the fact that the track does ramp up over time, we could be expecting even quicker times than this later on in the session, which is, well, thinking about last game, these were almost unthinkable times from what I remember. I think just about 105.8 was probably the best people could do, and they're just casually getting into them at the moment. So they really are improving in terms of how quick they can go. Whether there will be a fix for these cars in the future, that we don't know fully, but it is looking really strong from Caraton at the moment.
Yeah, it is as well. And Lenny just come across the line in P2 as well, 105.7, who's won plenty of leagues on the PC on the last game as well. And another driver that also impressed us in the socials as well. And I know it's too early to think of any champions or any possible championship contenders in any of the F1 or the F2 tiers, but it's kind of like testing when we want to have predictions and we want to try and see where do these guys slots in, but we can't do that because one, they're on preset setups, and they will probably find a setup which is more suited to the track, and they'll probably go a lot faster as well, some of these guys. So don't assume that this is going to be the final order come middle of August when the PC side will be starting their first race. And I'm already excited for season 29 already on about both platforms. Make sure you check it out. Obviously, the days for the other tiers below F1 still to be decided, but we know that F1 will be on its usual slot on Thursday nights with the GOAT commentary duo of George Morgan and Jack Canan taking through the reins, and I'm sure that they're going to be treated with an absolute classic as well, with so many drivers on esports signed up as well. We even got the Red Bull guys signed up as well this season, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, Frederick Rasmussen, Sebastian Job as well signed up too, and I looked at the sign-ups from a couple of days as well. We even got more esports drivers signing up too, so it shows that PSGL is one of the best of the best. We do not have long to go, and 6 minutes to go of this session, and already people are going out again. Don't forget, these drivers don't have an amount of softs compared to last game. They were allowed to select softer, balanced, or harder. You only got the balanced one this season, and on this game you have 3 softs in qualifying, 1 medium, and there's a few drivers complaining on social media about that, me being one of them. But at least it's a level playing field that they only got 3 sets of softs for this qualifying session.
It would have been nice to see a little bit of variety in some of the compounds that drivers want to run, but I guess we get what we're given really. But qualifying is beginning to wind down with just under 6 minutes to go, and we could be seeing some final runs coming out from drivers. Time and Shooter currently in 9th position at the moment. He's just coming up to the line. We'll see where he can improve to, and he only goes into 7th position. He might be sandbagging a little bit, knowing his pace from over on PlayStation on 2020 and just his recent performances on F1 2021, as I believe someone has just improved on another lap. I think Piotr Stachelek has just gone up into 2nd position, so they are creeping in on Alvaro Caraton's time at the moment, and he's not completely out of the water, but he is on a run at the moment through the final sector, and he is improving on his brilliant lap already, coming up towards the line, opening up his DRS. Where can Alvaro Caraton put it? He goes quicker, and he does a 1 minute 5.526, and that could be our pole time for tonight. A brilliant lap from the Spaniard, and I think he'll be happy with that one.
I think he'd probably go a 10th quicker, I'm almost saying, because we've already beaten, I would say, the record of pole last season in Brazil, which shows that they are faster in real life, and I'm almost certain that there's going to be a patch, whereas they're going to be nerfed somewhat, not quite, because in some of the games in the career mode, it shows that Williams are slower than Haas, and obviously Williams are not slower than Haas in real life. Haas is slower than Williams. So I think a few minor details, but don't forget these drivers are running in equal performance right now, so they are equal to the Mercedes as I'm speaking, because it is the fastest car in game, but I'm almost certain it will be changed to a Red Bull right now. And I have to say, top 17 separated by a second, with Bryn and Mr. Anker just missing out on that 1 second bubble at the moment. Anker not saying a representative lap time, but I know he's got some time left in him, so we can see what he could do, of course. I'll see if anyone else is on a lap. I don't think many people are on a lap right now, because there's not that long to go, and they want to go into the pit in time to set their final runs where the track is at its best, of course. Only person on a lap, though, is another VSR driver, Mr. Anker, in the Aston Martin. Haven't seen much on him this game, but he's played a big part in VSR in the last game, heading towards Jiangshan now as well. Let's see if he can set a much better lap time. I think this will be one of his only laps, going towards the final corner then. DRS wide open, and he's going almost at top speed, 200 miles per hour. Can he get past last place? He slots in into 15th place and 106.0. Still very, very close to his nearest rivals. And we got Ruben Vallejo, who has improved to a 105.573. I did say he was a driver to watch out for, as well as Avara Canton, and he's definitely proven us right there as well. And I'm sure if the F1 esports teams are watching, they definitely want to sign this driver, because he is insane on the last game and on this game as well. And he's won quite a few races in a few leagues as well, and you know, he wants to get a podium. I'm almost going to say he potentially could get on the podium tonight, but any of these drivers could get on the podium, so I'm not going to predict too much.
Yeah, well, at the moment, drivers are coming out of the pits for their final run, but weaving his way through the traffic at the moment is Kanakinchi in the McLaren car in 4th position at the moment, and he has improved through the first sector. He's just about to come to the second sector split. He's lost a little bit of time through sector 2, but he can make it up in this final sector of the circuit. At the moment, he's projected to just beat Piotr Stachelek, but if he does find some improvement, he could be right up on the front row of the grid. Where's he going to nestle that McLaren car? And it is going to be second row, third on the grid for the Turkish driver, but that is a very competitive time. He just pipped Stachelek, who's beginning up on his run at the moment, but I think Cam will be very happy with that lap.
Yeah, he will as well. 9/100 slower than Avara Carton. I think he'll take that any day of the week, knowing that he was almost close to a F1 esports driver, and obviously Ruben Vallejo too. So I wonder if he could go even quicker. That would be amazing, because obviously it is a social race. Points are not at stake here. They just want to have some fun. So maybe they could go and try for the aggressive strategy. So if Chanakinchi goes for another lap, I will not be surprised. But he's on 29% ERS, so probably not. Ruben Vallejo has retired from the session. He is happy with his lap, but we got a few more drivers about to start or finish their lap. Then we have one of the Alfa Romeos about to finish their lap, but it's not Jay, it is Simon Shooter, who is about to cross the line in 5th position, 1/10 quicker than his previous best, so it's looking very, very impressive at the moment. We got a Mercedes driver about to start his lap, that is Lenny, and we got a Haas cars as well, which is hard to tell on this game, of Bryn down in 19th position, about to start his lap 2, and Avara Carton is about to start his lap past Jung Sao, and he's going to go for a quicker lap, which I didn't think he was going to do, but he wants to strive for perfection here today, and he's going to throw everything out of the water. And even though we say it's a perfect lap, I'm sure he's thinking that he's made some mistakes in the last 3 laps, and he can find a couple of tenths maybe, or even a couple of hundredths of a second faster than obviously his last few laps then. So just waiting for a few more drivers to come across the line, as obviously Piotr is still on his lap. He's gone P2. What a lap from him. And then I believe we got an AlphaTauri. I believe that's Oscar that's just crossed the line. Yes, it was into P12. The checker flag has dropped then. We're starting to see the final few drivers finish their laps then, one of which is Lenny then. I wonder if he's either backed off. No, he is not backed off. I wonder if he could go even quicker than his last time in 7th at the moment. It is 5th place for him. We got an Alfa Romeo driver. I believe that's Jay, coming towards Jung Sao. Nope, he's not. He's invalidated. Paris, one of the Ferraris, have popped it into the pits. And then we got another Haas driver of Dominic, also about to cross the line on 1 lap, old softs. He's 4 tenths down at the moment, and he stays 4 tenths down in 16th position. Then we got another McLaren, who puts him in 4th position. And there we go, Avara Carton laying out a marker. We thought he couldn't go faster. He goes even quicker, 105.521. Zones can't go quicker, unfortunately. He has invalidated his lap time. I wonder if Darren Warren could go any quicker. No, he cannot. He has retired from the session. Andreas Dormeyer, I think he's on a lap unless he's slowing down. Nope, he is slowing down, so he can't improve. So that is your grid then for today's 50% race, and it's Avara Carton that is on pole, but only 2/100 slower than Avara Carton. Here's Piotr Stachelek in P2. I have to say, that is impressive. The top 5 separated by 1/10. Is it F1 esports?
It's an insanely close grid, and I think what it all boils down to is how consistent these drivers are. I was watching Avara Carton in his entire lap there, and it looked absolutely perfect, but he only gained about 6 thousandths of a second on his previous best time, which is unreal to think how such a perfect looking lap wouldn't completely blow your old time out of the water. It just shows how close they are together. And speaking of close, I believe that Ruben Vallejo and Felipe Sousa were split by about 1,000th of a second to the nearest 3,000. So it 1,000, I guess. Yeah. So it is brilliant to see how quick and competitive all of these drivers are. I cannot wait for this race to get underway. I think the entire grid was separated, aside from Bryn, 18th up to first, separated by about 5/10 of a second. Oh my word.
That is insane. F1 and F2 is going to be absolutely stacked. And I'm sure, Dan, you're going to be very, very excited to cover the F2 tier this season. And I'm sure George and Jack will be equally more excited for the top tier. So we've got Aval Caraton on pole. Now we've got Zones in P2. We've got Ruben Vallejo in P3. Felipe Sousa in 4th, Chana Kinchi 5th, Lenny 6th, Andreas Dormeyer in 7th. Where we got Simon Perez, Horder, Oscar, Yari, and I missed out what was on the rest of the grid there. So, like I said there, a close grid for these drivers. That means the racing's going to be even closer, and I wonder if the undercut is going to be even more powerful, or I wonder if people outside the top 10 will try for the mediums. The soft strategy remains to be seen. But it's a bit close-knit because of the soft tyres, like we said, last 16 laps. But then the mediums last quite a bit too. But the tyre wear could be a bit of a factor in terms of tyre temperatures, but it's not much of a factor in the last game. So I wonder if there's going to be some slipstream battles and people giving each other the turn, working together this race as well, and throwing a bit of an experiment ahead of next season. I wonder what's going to happen here in this Socha race. Don't forget, this is the PSGL stroke VSR Invitational, and myself, Jessica Ball, and Dan Bill will be taking you through the action. You can follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at JessGames95. And Dan, what is your Twitter handle?
Mine is Danfield and then 2 underscores F1. The 2 underscores is important because with 1 underscore it was already taken, so I had to settle on the extra underscore there. But yeah, that's my Twitter handle.
And you can also follow PSGL at Premier Sim GL, where you can keep up to date on all of the PSGL action. And since this event's been organised by the lovely people of VSR, may as well give VSR the plug as well. The VSR Twitter handle is at Visceral Racing, so make sure you give them a follow as well. We'd like to say thank you to PSGL for making this happen and letting VSR host this social race. And I'd like to say thanks to the guys at VSR for putting this all together. And one man in particular who organised this, he's watching in the background, but he's quite busy at the moment. But he is watching with bated breath at the moment. It is Brett. So Brett, if you're watching, massive shout out to you. So without further ado, let's get on to this grid then and look at the tyres that we've got on offer. So top 10, they have to start on the soft tyres because that's what they qualified on the course. But we got quite a mixed bag outside the top 10. We've got 11th down to 16th position on the mediums, as well as Prinens also on the mediums. And we got Mr. Anker and Bryn being the odd one out and going on the hard compounded tyres. A bit of a surprise then for those two, Dan?
Yes, they are certainly the dissenting two from the rest of the pack, and they'll be on the different strategies. They'll be slower in the first part of the race, but those tyres got great longevity and they can go for a very long time, making their final stint a complete cakewalk. So they're playing the long game here, but I'm interested to see how they can actually get on in this first stint and whether they can keep up with the top drivers, especially Bryn, who's he's starting in 19th at the moment. So if he can't keep in touch with the top drivers, with the rest of the pack, then it could be game over for him before it's even started.
Exactly. A few action zones to keep an eye on. Obviously, we got turn 1 and turn 2. Please drive with caution. And we're about to get underway as the 5 red lights go on. And we are underway, and it looks like a good start for Aval Caraton, but also a good start from Zones as well as they head towards turn 1. Zones could get the lead here as we head towards turn 3, but no, Aval Caraton, I think, gets a better line as well. Let's see what everyone else is looking like as well. We got the Alpine having a good start here. Everyone making their way cleanly as well past the center S's, which is great to see, but unfortunately we are getting the time and tower glitch, and we can't tell where people are right now. So the top 3 staying where they are. Chanakinchi unfortunately dropping a position as well. Simon Tutor actually gets past. Oh, there's a bit of contact from, I think, the Mercedes driver that's gone off down in 17th position now. It is, I think it was Lenny who's now in last place. I'm not sure if he's got a bit of damage there of his car, but it looked like there was a huge scrap in the midfield from some of the cars as well, which may explain the matter, but it may just be a racing incident. But Avara Karaton is already going off to a lightning start.
Yeah, he's not completely free of Stahalek in behind him there. He's just about 5/10 adrift from the Williams car in front of him. Ruben Vallejo is closing up to the back of the Red Bull car as well, about 3/10 back from him there, as they complete the first lap of the Grand Prix. There's a little bit of a timing glitch going on at the moment. That should sort itself out once all the drivers complete the first sector on the second lap. Another little incident as well further back behind. I saw Dominic go for a spin at turn number 4. And he's been able to keep going here in this race, and I don't believe he's got any damage, but it is very unfortunate given that I do not believe there is a safety car for him to help him today. So I'm really praying that he can get back in this one.
Yeah, no safety car, of course. They did try the safety car in the social race on Sunday, I believe, as well. But they're not going to try it here because it's for a bit of fun, of course. But you can see the DRS train will really start to grow once we're on lap 3. We're not on lap 3 yet, but the only person that will not have the DRS is Avara Karaton. And I'm sure that he wants to make sure that everyone else keeps behind him. Oh, he's made a mistake. It is Avara Karaton, actually. I bigged him up so much. He must have had a bit of understeer, and he's dropped it to P16. I don't think there's damage caused by his car, but yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Maybe he got on the power too early, but our race leader is down to P17 right now, and he's going to look for a different strategy then. Maybe he may pit a bit earlier. We will see. And meanwhile, Bryn and Anchor are going side by side, heading towards turn 2. Let's see if they can make this stick. We've got Anchor on the right-hand side, Bryn on the left. Both of them starting near the back of the grid, and they're doing very well to gain positions off the start then as they make their way towards turn 4. I think Bryn keeps it steady. Yes, he does. And we've got Ruben Vallejo that is definitely feeding the pressure right now, knowing that he's actually fighting for the race win now, with Piotr actually taking the race lead right now, with Avara Karaton spinning at the moment. So we got a Red Bull in the lead, Alpine in P2, and 2 McLarens are in P4. If it was a constructors fight, then this would have worked very well. So we already lost 1 retirement from this race, and that is Lenny in a Mercedes. We're down to 18 drivers already.
With Karaton's mistake, that leaves Stahalek in the lead of the Grand Prix, and I don't want to jinx him too hard here, but Stahalek, last time he was leading a social race was in Spain, and he crashed out in pretty amazing fashion. So, I've just seen Kanakinchi and his teammate as well, Felipe Souza, making contact. Souza's got damage, and Can is facing the wrong way. So drama already on lap number 4, as Can is now back in the right at the back of the pack. Felipe Souza losing positions rapidly due to that wing damage. You can see, oh dear, the amount of understeer that he's getting there. It's impossible to drive, and he's gonna have to pit, and that could be his race over and done with.
And that's allowing the guys that have been staying out of trouble to really put the hammer down and try and get positioned in this race. And look at this, Anchor and Bryn having some fun, and Anchor's had another spin. There's a lot of people having spins in Brazil. It's so easy to do, heading past this complex from turn 6 all the way up into the final part of sector 3. I potentially lose it quite a lot around Brazil, especially on this game. Brazil is a lot harder than the last game, obviously due to the handling model and requiring so much less downforce compared to the last game as well. But we will see. Andreas Dormeyer has had a good start as well due to the troubles from others. He's up into P3 right now, but he's got Simon Juter right on the back of him as well, chasing him down once again through turn 3. And I think he led. Both look even in terms of pace right now, so we could be having a slap-dot fight between the pair of them as well. This should be very, very impressive between both of them. We got Paris Borough as well in P6. This could be a Ferrari sandwich right now in terms of battles as well. I wonder if the Ferrari drivers will be helping each other up. They are both VSR drivers, of course. Paris and Andreas hopefully are in a party together as well, so they've been looking at strategy. So I wonder if it push comes to shove, if Paris maybe can't get the move, I wonder if Andreas will be told to push even more, or maybe Andreas is being a little bit threatened, and no penalties so far this race, which I have to say I'm quite shocked about, but I'm probably jinxed one driver in a minute, so I won't say anything more. But no one is blinking right now due to the incidents that's happened earlier on, because even with people making moves, there just been so many contact at the moment, but there's a lot of other drivers that have been making moves stick and been doing it well right now, especially with Vallejo, who has been looking good lap after lap after lap, but with the dirty air, which unfortunately is being a big factor on this game, that's why you can't get past it. With the F122 game next year, with the new regulations, dirty air won't be that much of a thing, as we've got Simon Shooter getting a brilliant move past Andreas Dormeyer up into 4th place. The podium is in sight for him so far, 2.4 seconds back right now, but we got two of the Ferraris fighting for P5 there. Mattia Bonotto is probably a bit wide with these two. I wonder if they've been told to race. We will see. Unfortunately, we have another timing glitch as Mr. Anchor goes into the pit lane right now. And, wow, that was a nice scrap for the midfield, I have to say.
Yeah, Timon Shooter, it was a really calculated move there, and I think with all that drama going on, it did create a huge rift between the top two and Andreas Dormeyer. That meant he didn't get any DRS, and it allowed for Timon to get right on by, but I think he might have another crack at the whip on the Alfa Romeo driver, because he used up a little bit of his overtake on the beginning of the straightaway, and now in towards turn number 1, beginning lap number 7 for these guys. He's gone up the inside, and he's made the move stick, and I think Alberola and Paris Barrel are fighting it out as well through the center S's. That's not going to work, and they come into a little bit of contact. Now, round number 3 for these guys. Timon Shooter could be going for the move in towards turn number 4 for P3 at the moment, and he's got the move done down the inside, but around the he's gone a little bit deep through the corner. Andreas Dormeyer could have another look in here, but it is not going to be the opportunity for him just yet. In towards turn number 5, Shooter back up into P3 there.
He is an esports driver for a reason. He was picked by Alfa Romeo because of the overtakes that he has done and the ability to make his way through the field. So I wonder if he's going to close in on Ruben Vallejo in P2. We will have to find out. He's already closing in already. The amount of speed he is taking in the final sector remains to be seen. So watch out for him later on in the race, and watch out for everybody as they make their first pit stops as well. Yari Fitz is looking very, very close on the back of Jorge Albarella in P6 right now. This could be another overtake. They've been scrapping on the last lap too, and they could be scrapping this lap as well. And Paris Barrel is also on this fight as well. This could be 3 wide if they're not careful, but it looks like the Alpine driver is a lot more closer, so let's go on board with him as they head towards the DRS zone. DRS activated as well, and the two Ferrari cars are using the slipstream to their advantage, but Andreas Dormeyer doesn't want to help Paris. He wants to actually go for the move past Simon Shooter, because this is going to be absolutely insane. They're not giving up without a fight, and I'm sure these drivers will not become complacent at all when they get the move done. This is how stacked this grid is for the PSGL and VSR Invitational. It is absolutely incredible. The top 8 are within touching distance of a race victory here as well, and it is only a social race, and they're going all at it right now. Imagine what they're going to be in the opening round in a couple of weeks' time as well. We obviously don't know what the tiers are going to be, but watch out for placements. I believe it's next week the placements will be announced as well for the PlayStation and the PS tiers, but we're going for round number, I'm losing count of how much many rounds here right now, but it looks like Corday is going to go for a move on Paris. No, he does not. Again, he can't get past. He was 1/10 behind, but the dirty air again just not helping, which is not the ideal strategy right now. But let's see if he's using his straight line speed to his advantage. We can see Paris actually not that far behind Andreas. This is just absolutely insane battling happening right now.
Yeah, it's they're all stuck in this DRS train at the moment, so it is very difficult to make an overtake when you're a part of it, because the advantage that you have over the car in front is pretty much nullified once you're in a long DRS train. And I don't think Andy wants to go for the move as well, and he's holding on to his ERS. He's stacking it up. He's got about 94% at the moment in that Ferrari engine, whereas Timon Shooter's only got about 38%. So he's certainly he's holding all the cards really, is Dormeyer, and it's just a matter of time before he wants to go for the move, which could be very soon, because he is closing up to the back of the Alfa Romeo car, using up a bit of his overtake this time by on the straightaway through Jun Sao, and he could go for the move in towards turn number 1. Time and Shooter's not going to make it easy on him, but here he goes, the German driver to the inside line. Is he going to make this move stick? And indeed he does, and I think Jari Fitz has gone for the move further back behind on Alberola. They're going to be side by side through the center. Estes, and wow, big slide there for the Alpine car, but he's managed to hold on to it as now the train snakes down the straightaway in towards turn number 4. Dormeyer holding on to P3 for the time being. Shooter losing out on that position, and Jari Fitz overtaking Alberola. So it's getting, they're all going hammer and tong at the minute in this train of 5.
This is not the Trilly train, this is the Andreas Dormeyer train right now in this Invitational, and Jari Fitz is on the back of that as well, and the likes of Jorge Albarella as well. And there's one driver that we haven't drawn much attention to with this fight, Ruben Petreno as well. He's only 1.6 seconds behind as well, and if these drivers do not get moving, Ruben could be on the back of this as well. And don't forget, these soft tyres will start to die very, very soon, and the only driver that's not on the sauce in this little group is Jari Fitz, so we'll see if he's quicker than the other guys later on as well, and he's already looking quicker as well, and he's going to try and get past Paris Barrel heading into turn 1. Here they're going to go side by side. Paris covers off very, very nicely as well, and there's almost a little bit of a slide again for Jari Fitz. This could be a great opportunity for the likes of Jorge to fight back once again. Unfortunately, the camera is not showing good cameras at the moment, but it looks like Jorge gets the move done once again on Jari Fitz, but Jari Fitz is not going to give up without a fight, that's for certain. 25% of ERS left for Jari Fitz, and we do have a battle for P3, I believe. Andreas Dormeyer gets P3, and I'm wondering what's happening to Dylan Warren right now. He's dropping back a few positions at this moment in time, which keeps Zones in the lead in the timing for now. And the top two, they're just not budging. They're just using each other for slipstream and allowing the rest of the field just to fight with their own and just give it their all at the moment. And Ruben Petreno, he is a driver on a charge right now. We also got the likes of Oscar battling as well. We got one of the first drivers in the pits then. Paris is in the pits then. We still got another battle to watch. We got 3 cars going side by side into turn 1. We got Prinez, Ruben, and we also got the AlphaTauri of Oscar as well heading past into this DRS zone. Please do not go 3 wide. This is going to be absolutely sensational. And also, during that fight, Ruben Vallejo has overtaken Zones, and he's our race leader now.
Yep, Ruben Vallejo taking the lead of the VSR X PSGL social race, and that could be a key move for him. I wonder if he's made that because he's planning on coming into the pits this time by, and that wouldn't be out of this world, I'd say, but he has made that move stick, so we'll see what his plan is from here, because I'd imagine he'd have wanted to stay behind Sahalek for as long as he wanted, and then he could come into the pit and use up his resources, which he'll recharge in the pit lane as well. You see he's lost out a bit of ERS, and I think no, he isn't going to come into the pits. He's going to stay out, and Sahalek's going to take advantage of this. He's going to go up the inside and towards turn number 1. Their leaders swap positions yet again. Alberola into the pit lane. So these soft tires are beginning to run out for these guys. They're on a huge time limit at the moment as for how long they do have left in their life. And as Jari Fitz gets a 3-second time penalty, that is the first penalty out of anyone to this day on this day so far. So really unfortunate from him there, and being on the strategy that he is on, the advantage could have all just been kicked away, because of course he'll be able to stay out a lot later on in this Grand Prix than all the other drivers around him, and well, the undercut, the overcut even, and then the fresher tires towards the end, that would have played a huge advantage. But given how close this grid is, with a 3-second time penalty, it could be all over for him.
Yeah, it could. I was just talking about him as well, that he was the one that could make the alternate strategy work, and obviously he is going to be lasting up until about lap 20. We are probably expecting the medium runners to go into the pits, maybe a lap later, we will see as well. And I wonder if some people are not as brave enough to go for the medium tyres, knowing that the mediums don't last that long, and maybe they're going for the play it safe strategy, making sure that the tyres are durable until the end. I did see someone go into the pits. That is Simon Juter in the P10 in the Alfa Romeo, and he's looking on the undercut on Andreas Dormeyer then, and Yari Fitz as he goes onto a 7 mediums 2 laps earlier than we thought. So that's going to be again, that's going to be very, very interesting. No safety cars, don't forget, so they're going to be running at full throttle, full pace throughout the whole of this race. So I wonder if Simon Shooter is going for the gamble, and you can, because you're not going to be getting any points out of this because it is a social race. Why not try ambitious strategies and see if they make it? And if it does work, that will be amazing, as we had 3 cars going side by side again as Simon gets past the Williams driver of our Caraton, and he's up into P12. The top 3 are not budging, but I wonder if they're going to budge due to the Alfa Romeo driver deciding to pit early, or they're going to stick it out for a couple more laps. As Piotr Stakale, is he going into the pits? Nope, he is not, but I do see Ruben Vallejo in the Alpine car going into the pit centre. He wants to take the gamble then. Andreas Dormeyer also stays out too, so this could be varying strategies between the top 3 right now, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely, as all the drivers have been pitting. Alvaro Caraton has also been one of those drivers pitting a couple of laps earlier than those around him on a set of the medium compound tyres, so he's put himself back in this fight here as Paris Burrell and Timon Shooter having a fight here, and it seems like Shooter's got that move pretty easily there. We'll see where they come out in comparison to Ruben Vallejo, who's just exited the pits, and he is comfortably ahead of all the drivers that have been battling it out at the moment. But back to Caraton, he has brought himself back into the fight after his mistake early on in the Grand Prix, which I could assume was him running onto the grass and then the car just completely spinning. It has been known to do that on this game so far, and I think it's really just the RNG not being in his favour, and he is seemingly sliding quite a lot in this race, so it could just be his setup as well, or how he's running the car. Of course, preset setups, it might just be the way he's actually driving that is causing him to have all of these slides, but nevertheless he has brought himself back into the fight as finally Stahalek and Andreas Dormeyer, both of the remaining soft runners in this race, come in for a set of the medium compound tyres. Stahalek exiting the pit now, and with a 1-lap undercut, this Ruben Vallejo got. He's just coming through at turn number 1 now, and we'll see where he can come out in comparison to his rival at the moment. It's going to be so close between the pair of them. The undercut could have worked a treat here for Vallejo, because here comes Stahalek out of the pit lane, and he is behind Ruben Vallejo, and he's going to come out in with a bit of traffic in front of him as well. The slower Bryn Evans, who is on the set of the hard since the beginning of the Grand Prix, is going to be the cork in the bottle for him.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be held up too much because there are variabilities as well. And Stakalek has put up a brilliant fight against Bryn, and he's up into 8th place. And I don't think Bryn was challenging that, knowing he's on a different strategy. You've got to learn when to pick your battles, really, and that is what Bryn has done. And Ruben with the perfect undercut on his nearest rival, 8/10 behind now as well, but he's going to be on much worn tyres compared to his rival as well, so watch out for the end of the Grand Prix. I'm almost certain that Stakalet is going to be pushing towards the end to make sure he can get one up on Ruben Vallejo. This could be a very interesting fight for the win of this race as well, and look for the medium runners as well as they're going all at it past turn 3. We got Prinens, the lead of this trainer. We got Ruben Pedranio in the middle. We got Oscar, and we got Jay as well in the Alfa Romeo as well. We got the Williams just backs off a little bit from the rest of the guys. This could give Oscar a chance to retaliate and go for this move. We'll have to find out. There was a bit of a stutter, my apologies. Unfortunately, the game with a few bugs as usual, but yeah, the few drivers coming into this race weren't sure about what presets will be best to use, and luckily they won't be running preset setups in a PSGL. They'll be having their own setups, but I wonder if there will be conversations after the race on, oh, what setup did you run? Why was I sliding all over the place? I'm not quite sure what setup I would have used if I was running this race. Usually I'd go for the balance setup, as Ruben Pedranio's Williams is sliding everywhere. I wonder if it's a problem with the Williams cars tonight. Maybe a similar setup perhaps as well, even though they might not be working together, but they probably chosen similar presets. We will find out soon, as well as Jay is playing the back seat out of all this as well, maybe waiting for something to go wrong and he could go past as well. Dropped a little bit back from this train now, so we'll watch Ruben Pedranio then as he's eyeing out Prinens. Can't quite get him on this occasion, but this is turning out to be a very good fight between these guys for P3 on track, even though it's for a net towards the points paying positions. The late points paying positions of this grid then, as Ruben Vallejo is starting about with Stackerlate. 5/10 is the gap now. Zones is definitely increasing the pace now. This newer tyres is definitely helping the Red Bull driver right now.
Yeah, they actually just had to clear Dominic in behind them, who hasn't pitted so far in this Grand Prix, and Vallejo got past with no problems. But Stachelek, he had a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment at turn number 4 because he probably expected Dominic to yield a little bit there, but there was just a little bit of a squeeze to the inside line for him. He almost spun the car, but he was able to save it, and he's now hot on Ruben Vallejo's heels, and he could go for the move in towards turn number 1. Where's Vallejo going to hold the car? He's going to position it to the outside line, going to gift the inside to Stachelek, and he goes for the move. And Timon Shooter also not too far off the back of this battle as well. He's almost within DRS range. Back at the top though, Ruben Vallejo could be going for this move, as Dylan Warren's decent car there for me was just sitting in the middle of the track, and it looked like Stachelek was going to go right to the back of him, but luckily cleared without any issues, as Vallejo not able to get past this time by.
Yes, biding his time right now. This could be a thing in terms of switching positions throughout this race as well. And if you either want to be on the attack or the defence as well. And it's going to be a tough call for Ruben Vallejo. But if Simon Shooter wants to try and get past as well, then I'm sure they're going to be using each other as slipstream. So they got to get a move on before the Alfa Romeo driver could catch up to them as well. He's already near DRS range of Ruben Vallejo. Simon Shooter has had a really good first couple of laps on these medium tyres. It looks like he's been finding the medium tyres more at home compared to the likes of Stackelake and Ruben Vallejo then, as we head towards lap 20 then. Watch out for the medium runners. We could see them on the softs. We do have a yellow flag somewhere, and that is Dominic going into the pits for a set, I believe, of the soft compounded tyres, because the softs could make it, I believe, from lap 20, the end of lap 20, so he could go on the softs nice and early. But we'll see what he will do later on. But we still got battles to watch out for, as we got the two Ferraris and a Val Caraton fighting as well for position, as Darren Warren unfortunately gets a 3-second time penalty. And no, it is not Darren Warren that's leading on the timing sheet. Unfortunately, he is desynced, I think, for everybody. His internet, I don't think, is very, very good tonight. So it is Sakalek that takes the race lead at the moment, your net race leader. But we'll see if the alternate strategy plays out as well, because we saw that with Jan Otmir going from 15th to P2 in the Esports Invitational, and what a comeback that was as well. We could see something similar here. More penalties are starting to come onto the drivers as well. That could play a massive factor towards the end of this race, as we got Yari Fitz, the one who was fighting a lot of positions of this race, is coming in, and we got the likes of Prinens in the pits as well. But we got Oscar and Jay staying out then for just a bit longer. They want to make sure that their softs are durable and they can last the duration.
Yep, so the medium runners taking off that compound tyres. 20 laps was all they could do, as Dylan Warren has retired in the pit lane. I was wondering how he got his penalty with the desync, because for me, he was on the straight and it just popped up that he got a warning. So it was very confusing to me as to how that all worked out. But he has now retired from this session, so we shouldn't see any more issues with desync between him and the rest of the drivers. There's a big battle going on at the moment between Alberola and Bryn Evans. Fresher hard tyres against the older, worn-out compound since the beginning of the race. But I think now up the inside, Alberola can make that move stick, and Bryn has got to concede, but he is still fighting this pretty heavily at the moment. I wonder when he wants to come in for his pit stop, because those tyres cannot be in the best condition at the moment, as the two leaders, Oscar Villacampa and Jay Vahaj, come into the box. That unleashes Stahalek and Ruben Vallejo into the lead of this Grand Prix. No more nets. They are 1 and 2 at the moment, and they're going to be fighting right until the end of this race.
Look who's back in this race as well. I know it may be a tall order for him to get into the podium positions. He could still get some points. Avara Caraton in 4th position then. He could be the driver that could spoil everything, or could make things very, very exciting for this battle then for a potential podium, or maybe the latter end of the points then as well. Doing a very, very great job to climb from, I think it was 14th all the way up into 4th place. So he's gained like 10 positions as well. And they are esports drivers as well. They have learned how to overtake like that as well. And they've been picked from the Williams esports team for a reason. And he's driving absolutely great right now. Even though I think he's struggling with his setup more than he would have liked, but at least he will learn for the next social race. I'm sure he'll be back to his normal self when we head to, I believe, I'm trying to remember what track it is on Thursday. It is Belgium on Thursday, which was voted by you guys on the Twitter poll, and I'm very, very excited for that. Meanwhile, Yari Fitz on much fresher softs compared to Jorge Albarola's worn hard tyres, gets past the Alpine car, and he is up into 7th position right now. His next target is Paris Borough, and I will check, it's around about 1.5, 1.8 seconds difference between the softs and the hard tyres, so it's a massive undertaking. But I know Yari Fitz can do it, but he's pitted a lot earlier compared to his rivals, so his tyres may die away very, very quickly, but we'll have to wait and see. But he's going to probably try and catch up to the Ferrari cars sooner rather than later. We could see varying strategies from every single one of these drivers as well. And we still got the top 3 to potentially decide as well. These two are not budging right now. I wonder if Ruben Vallejo is waiting until the last minute, knowing that the Alfa Romeo driver has backed off a little bit as well, so he could take it easy a little bit, just stay behind, knowing he's on a similar pace compared to the Red Bull driver. Or is he going to go for the move now? He's 1/10 behind. He was going to go for the move, maybe not quite into turn 1. But look at the straight line speed he's been having at the moment. Navarro Caraton is going onto the soft compounded tyres for one final time then. So he's going to go for one last push. Let's see how far he can climb up the grid then. Here comes Ruben Vallejo. Zones closes the door there on the Alpine car, and he stays in a P2, whereas Zone stays in P1. Right now, I don't think Diamond Shooter is going to do enough to get onto P2, but I'm sure he'll be very, very happy with the podium spot, knowing that his nearest rivals is around about 3 seconds down the road. And we got Breen getting a time penalty as well. I did see Navarro Caraton pick up a penalty as well earlier on in the race. We got Dominic also into the pits as well, and I'm sure Mr. Anchor will need to pit once again as well, because those mediums will not make it until the end. And Oscar does get past Bryn up into P10 right now. No safety cars though, so Bryn, I think, needs a miracle right now in order for him to climb up. And I think he's the only driver who's still yet to make a mandatory pit stop, but he wants to go on those fresh off, maybe help his nearest rivals out a little bit to steal the fastest lap point. And don't forget, Bryn and Jay are in the same esports team, so I wonder if they'll be working together on that front.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to what Bryn is exactly holding out for at this point. 24 laps on the hard. He's not gaining any pace anywhere at the moment. So I would just pit if I were him. There's no reason for him to stay out on this set of the hard compound of tyres, as he's just struggling to keep up with his rivals. He's lost about 7/10 through just through the first sector alone on his WOR Esports compatriot of Jay, who is looking to find his way back into the fray with the drivers in front, because they are fighting with Alberola at the moment, who is struggling with his hard compound of tyres that he's been on since he came into the pit stop 11 laps ago. And I think Pedreño is going to be a bit impatient as the leading Williams driver at the moment to get past the Alpine. He can't do it in this third sector. It's very difficult to find a move to make, but possibly in towards turn number 1 as Alberola's losing touch with Prinens in front of him. Pedreño off the exit is going to look for the opportunity, and they're going to go wheel to wheel. I don't think Alberola really wants to fight that all too hard at this point, as two Spaniards swap position, and Ruben Pedreño can get back on with his race. At the sharp end of the order, I'm noticing Ruben Vallejo's getting right up to the back of Stahelec, but he's not going for the move whatsoever. So he's playing mind games, I would say, at this point with the Red Bull car in front of him. He's just letting him know that he is there. He's not pushing too hard, and he's saving up his ERS. So these guys, they do need to get a move on, I'd say, especially for Vallejo, because he's going to run out of laps eventually. And also, I think we'd all quite love to see a nice battle for the lead that goes on for the remaining 10 laps that they are coming up to for the rest of this Grand Prix.
I wonder if Ruben Vallejo is going to do a switch back of Dreams and Ascender Dreams, because I think he's waiting until Stakalek runs out of room and runs out of patience potentially as well. And I'm looking at Ruben Vallejo's ERS right now. He is on 80. He's sitting very, very comfortable right now, and I want to check Stakalek's, and this is going to really help him towards turn 1. He's so close, but again, he's decided not to get past. They're just working together ever so slightly maybe, or again, it may just be mind games. Stakalek is also on the same amount of ERS, so they're pretty much even on pace, which is very, very exciting. But look at this. It looks like Ruben Vallejo was going to get the move there as well, but Stakalek was having none of that. Close the door once again into turn 4, and I do mean it. These two are doing a great job right now to show what they're made of and show that they could be championship contenders in the tier that they're in. Ruben Vallejo, I'm almost certain, will be in tier 1 next season, and Stakalek, I'm not sure, could be borderline between tier 1 and tier 2, and if he gets into tier 2, he will definitely, I'm almost certain, be a championship contender. But again, they will be having setups in the season, so we're not going to get too much predictions. Let us know your thoughts in the chat, guys. We want you to let us know your predictions. Who do you think is going to win this race? Who do you think is going to get the podium here today in this VSR X PSGL Invitational on the PC platform? We've seen some great battles so far that's going to go down to the very end, and we've seen quite a lot of people that has gained positions as well. And Ruben Vallejo is finding his time right now. 3/10 is the gap. We'll just go on board with him right now. He's got the good straight line speed. He's going to get the DRS. No, again, Zones just closed the door there. This is very, very tense. It's like watching Hamilton versus Verstappen in Monaco, but with these two. And meanwhile, Ruben Vallejo having a scrap with VSR Prinent, and it's up into P7. Could be on for some good points, but don't forget, Prinent has got no penalty so far. So as it stands, if they stay where they are, Prinent will move up quite a few positions actually.
Yeah, as they've all on this set on this soft strategy. They're all very tight knit at the moment. Jari Fitz is keeping his position on Prinens at the moment because he's not within 3 seconds, which he does need. And I'd just like to go back to your point with the tiers that the drivers would actually be in. I think given how close these grids really are, I'd imagine drivers in F2 could probably score points in F1 on their day just because of how much talent over these last 2 weeks of social races. All the drivers that have come and gone, they have been so talented, and you could really put them all up against each other on one grid, and they'd all probably still qualify within about 1.5 seconds of each other. I would say it is all that close, and it is really reflected in this race as well, as they're all mostly on the lead lap at the moment. I'd say the closest driver who's firmly out of the pack at the moment is probably Bryn, and then drivers downwards from him. But the top 12 have all managed to keep touch with the pack, as well as I'm thinking about Caraton, who's had to stop twice, and he had his spin. He's done really well to still be within at least a couple seconds of the drivers in front. So he's done really well to keep that consistency, keep a level head as well in this race.
He's learning as he goes along, and usually we have the pain that George Russell did not get any points, and he was so close, like P12, P11. That's where Vara Caraton is right now. Meanwhile, we got a spinner. That is the Alpine car of Jorge Alvarella. It's easy to do. That's what Vara Caraton did earlier on as well. Very unfortunate on those hard tyres. They're going to be absolutely cooking right now, and all that's left to do for him is he has to go into the pits, no doubt about it, because there's no way he's going to be running those hot tyres until the end of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the two Ferrari cars fighting alongside each other. When was the last time the Ferrari cars were fighting in Brazil? Was Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc, and we know what happened on that day. Not going to go too much into detail about that, but these two drivers driving a lot cleaner than those two, I have to say, and they're keeping good distance in between each other as well. And they're on different strategies as well. Paris going for the longer strategy on the hards, whereas Andreas Dormeyer on the more aggressive strategy on the mediums. But we are almost certain that those mediums could get to the absolute end, and we'll see if the optimum pace can take it. So Andreas Dormeyer, watch out for him in the closing stages of this race, as Jari Fitz gets another 3-second time penalty. It's not going his way, unfortunately. He's going to hope that the drivers around him have got more penalties. Let's watch Andreas Dormeyer, who has been looking ever so clean so far this race as well, and he is could be on F1 on this day as well, and showing that he is one of the stars of the future as well. And I have to say, Pridden's having a good race as well after starting lower down as well. He started on the alternate strategy, and he could be on for some good points as well. One of his first races on the PC side, and he's definitely impressing us with his caliber of talent as well, because it's not easy to go from console to PC. We both have tried it, and it was a lot harder than it seemed, and I think these drivers are showing that it is not too difficult, but you have to get used to it now and now again. And there's quite a few drivers on no penalties so far that could take advantage of the drivers around that have quite a lot of penalties to their name. Everyone from 6 downwards are on the soft tyre, so this could be game on for these guys. No safety car in this race. This is just talent alone and preset only, of course, and no weather affected as well, because usually in Brazil it tends to rain quite a lot here as well. On lap 32 of 36, Ruben Vallejo closing in on Stagger Lane once again. Is they just eating into the time ever so much right now? And the question is, when is Ruben going to fight back? Is it going to be this lap? Is it going to be next lap? Or is it going to be towards the end of the race?
I'd imagine the point that Vallejo will go for the move is probably on lap 36 in towards turn number 1, just because of the fact that, well, he's been playing these mind games for about 12 laps plus at this point. He's been sitting right behind Stahelec and just getting ever so close to it, less than a tenth to the Polish driver in the Red Bull car, and he's been backing off. So I think he's probably just getting under his skin a little bit. I'd imagine Stahelec is getting quite annoyed at this point as well, just by the fact that he's not even attempted to go for the move. They even slowed up together at one point in towards turn number 1, where they didn't battle at all. So they are, I think it is just a mind game for Vallejo, but he is using up his ERS this time by. He's used up about 20% just to get onto this straightaway, and I think that's because Stahelec was pushing away from him, but he's going to close right up to the rear of the Red Bull car and instantly back off. So he's probably going to wait until the very death of it on lap 36, I would imagine.
This is reminding me of the Arno Otmir versus Lucas Blakely battle, but that time they were on different tyres. These two drivers are on the same amount of tyres. Ruben Vallejo on much worn tyres compared to Stahelec up front, but I know he's been saving quite a lot. That's probably why he's right behind right now, and he's going to be waiting until the very last moment to go for it as well. These two are the stars of the future. This grid is our upcoming esports hunt and some F1 esports as well. These are the drivers to look out for in the PSGL PC this season. There's still plenty more that are not on this grid that are ones to watch out for as well, so do keep an eye on those as well. And there's plenty more racing in the Esports Invitational on Thursday and also in the social race as well. And there's quite a few drivers that haven't raced in the Esports Invitational yet and are going to be racing on Thursday. We're not going to say who, but I'm very, very excited to find out who that's going to be, and I'm sure you're excited as well. More information will be on the Premier Sim GL Twitter in the coming days, and it's going to be the final 2 races on the PC platform, at least on the social races side. So if you want more PSGL action on the PC, make sure you check it out. There's also a PlayStation social race on Wednesday. I believe that's around Austria at 8 p.m. tomorrow, and that's going to be, I can't remember who the commentators are for that one. Actually, no, it's Noah Clark and CES Phoenix take you through the action on that one, and that'll be around Austria. So make sure you check out those final social races before the placements are decided. And we got the 2 Ferrari drivers fighting head to toe at the moment for P4 right now, and I'm sure Andreas Dornmeyer must not like being stuck behind Paris Borough, and I'm sure the temperatures of the tyres are heating up ever so slightly because he's been stuck behind Paris, who has been on much harder tyres and much worn tyres as well. So again, maybe Andreas Dornmeyer is being a little bit patient as well, but we'll find out very soon. Ruben Vallejo has dropped off a little bit with Stahelec on the penultimate lap of this race then, but we will see if it's too little too late for the Alpine driver to get this race victory. Both of them have no penalties to their name. We don't know if the drivers are on any warning so far, but we won't find out until the end of the race. We have seen people get penalties on the final lap before, and that is costly right now. It does help that the race leader has got the DRS from Mr. Anger, who has unfortunately been lapped. Meanwhile, Andreas Dornmeyer gets past Paris Borough into turn 4 very, very nicely indeed. Andreas Dornmeyer does not want to wait ever so longer to get past Paris, and he eventually does as well. He didn't even need to, but he did anyway. He's not going to get onto the podium slot, but I'm sure he'll be happy on his performance so far as well with this caliber of drivers so far. We're not that far into the end of this race. Things could change at a drop of a hat, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, Ruben Vallejo is closing up to the back of Stahelec. He's been like this for a number of laps at this point, and it is all drawn down to this final moment. But he is losing a lot of time to the Red Bull car. I don't think he'll be close enough coming in towards turn number 1, but he wants to go for the move. He's using up all of his ERS into turn 1. He's too far back this time by, but he does have another helping of DRS down the Retro Aposta and in towards turn number 4 off the back of the Red Bull car, who's defending to the inside line. It might have been too late for Vallejo because he's losing touch with Stahelec. He's not close enough to go for the move. This time buying a big chunk of oversteer on the curb, and he's lost out more time up towards turn number 5, following in the wheel tracks of the Red Bull car. Stahelec leading this Grand Prix for the final time for lap 36. He's been really consistent, and maybe that one lap fresher tyres that he's got at the moment has made the difference. Vallejo, he's had opportunities to go for the move in the past, but he's just made the mistake here of waiting too long. I think Stahelec is on his pin. Oh my goodness me, Stahelec into the wall at the bottom of the final pin drop, the final corner of the final sector. Vallejo takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and they're now leading right at the death of it to cross the line. I do not believe what I'm witnessing here. Vallejo's going to take the win.
My, oh my, what has just happened there? We did say it would all come down to the final lap, and some people could make a mistake, and unfortunately, Stahelec, the race victory was his. He looked comfortable on taking that race win, and he just slipped through his fingers. Jung Sao again. That's where Caraton spun. That was where Jorge Alboella spun. It is not something to be underestimated here, and this is a driver who has won so many races on PC and a force to be reckoned with. He was one of the drivers to watch out. It was pointed on by VSR that he could do very, very well tonight, and he proved us right. Ruben Vallejo has won a social race, and I'm sure he's going to be very, very happy with that, but I'm sure Stahelec is going to be very disappointed, but at least he was able to stay within touching distance of the Alpine car behind as well. And I have to say as well, props up to Andreas Dormeyer. I messaged him earlier on in the VSR chat saying, do not get any penalties. Please do not get any penalties. He usually gets penalties every single race, and the race I did not mention about penalties regarding him, he's got no penalties. So Andreas Dormeyer, take a bow.
Yep, and that is that's the conclusion of it. Prinens wins driver of the day. But I just quite can't believe what I've witnessed there. Stahelec again leading a Grand Prix, and he's dropped it. And right at the very end, he had one corner to go, one braking zone to go, and he would have been home sailing. I think Vallejo had given up at that point. Stahelec just made the mistake on his own accord. Maybe the pressure got to him a little bit there, but he'll be kicking himself with that one. And Ruben Vallejo celebrates to top the podium. He sprays the champagne and he wins the VSR X PSGL social race here.
Yeah, excellent stuff as well. And I'm sure he wants to carry that momentum if he does race in any of the social races on Thursday as well. Absolutely incredible performance from him and Stahelec as well. Probably you curse him too much because you're in the commentary box. Every time you're in the commentary box, Zone's always under pressure maybe. We'll see. Anyway, Ruben Vallejo wins from Stahelec. Simon Shooter gets the podium with Andreas Dormeyer in 4th, Paris in 5th, VSR Prinens in 6th. The VSR boys showing off strong in this social race. Ruben Petranio had a good showing as well in 7th. Jay from 14th to 8th, a good performance from him. Avara Caraton, good comeback to finish 9th. And Oscar gets the final points with Yari, Jorge, Felipe, Dominic, Bryn, Anchor. And then your timers are Dylan Warren, Chanakinchi and Lenny. And especially Chanakinchi could have been in this battle on the day as well, but unfortunately it was not meant to be for him. But wow, my voice is almost gone, and it was a fantastic race, and what a good way to end it with Ruben Vallejo taking the win. I would like to hear from him and hear his thoughts on what he thought of that final lap and what happened to Zones. But I have to say, brilliant stuff from all the drivers, and a bit of a shame for Alvaro Carreton to have that spin, but at least he forgot about the troubles and was able to climb and get some solid points still. So that was all good.
Yeah, I wonder how the complexion of the race would have changed if Alvaro Carreton was in the race from after his spin. If he didn't make that mistake, I wonder where he would have panned out, and I'd imagine he'd have led that Grand Prix right to the very death of it because of the undeniable pace that he had in this race. But it just was not meant to be, I guess, and it was his own mistake, and he's just got to build on it. A lot of curbs seemingly ruining drivers today on this new game cycle, and I'd imagine that was one of them.
Yeah, I'm sure drivers have had struggles in the past in real life as well to get to the top, and they managed to get to the top someday. Remember Charles Leclerc as well, Bahrain 2019. He had an engine failure and Lewis Hamilton overtook him. He was so close to taking that victory, then his first victory. And I'm almost certain that Jones' first victory in PSGL will come soon, and I do mean it. Watch out for this guy in PSGL this season, because he is definitely going to be one of the favourites. We're just waiting for if we are getting any interviews for our top three as well, but I'm sure some of the drivers may not want to because of their heartbreak, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be hard to call with who I think is going to be challenging for the title in the respective tiers as well, but I'm sure they're definitely made a marker for in terms of F1 esports in the future. This has been the best talent that we've seen in a long time. Even though not all the esports drivers were here, we had the privilege of commentating on some of the best before even they get to the Pro Series, which makes it so much more special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so far on this game, that was probably the quickest grid that I had commentated on. Just some of the pace of these guys are undeniable. I hadn't also ever commentated on some of these guys before, so it's really lovely to see all these new faces on the new game, and they're all getting mixed up with each other and really getting stuck in. You know, you could take these races like, I'm not gonna care, I'm not gonna do anything. But I even when I checked in on Carreton's stream, he was practicing for this race. So it is really brilliant to see that these guys they do have the graft, and they want to do well very early on in the game cycle and carry that momentum forward in towards season 29.
Yeah, they definitely want to give it everything. And just as us commentators want to warm up for the season ahead as well, it's a perfect chance for the drivers to try out some strategies. Maybe for some drivers, the softer hards did not work for them, so maybe they will probably try for the more aggressive strategy in the future. Or maybe they want to try something different. Maybe the two-stop next time. We don't know. That is the beauty of this social races. You could go all at it, and it'll be absolutely brilliant as well. We've been treated to some amazing social races both on the PC and the PlayStation platform, and it doesn't stop there as well. We don't have any interviews, I don't think. Nobody has gone into the interview box, so we are going to wrap the stream there as well. This has been the VSR Invitational, partnered by PSGL, and thank you to PSGL once again for letting us stream on the PSGL channel as well. And I'm sure the drivers have been, and the viewers have been, treated to an absolute classic as well. Thanks to Brett once again for organising this social race and getting the drivers sorted for this as well. And to be honest, it's been great as well. And also thank you to my co-commentator Dan as well for joining me in the commentary box. It's been a while, and I hope we get to commentate with each other soon. It may be a little bit while longer. It may be 4 months down the line again. It may be the next game cycle we may commentate again, or the next season, but it's been good nonetheless, Dan.
Yes, it's been brilliant to be here, and thank you for inviting me yourself to do this with you. It's lovely to be back in the commentary box alongside you after all this time, and I'm very pleased to have done this event. It was a really cracking opportunity, and I had a lot of fun doing this tonight. So thank you to the VSR team and to PSGL as well.
Yeah, indeed, as well. So if you want more PSGL action this week, you are in luck. We still got 3 more social races for you to watch this week. Starting tomorrow with the PS social race. I need to actually get the tweet out to tell you all the social racing time, because if I do not get the tweet out, I'll be very annoyed. There we go. So tomorrow at 8 PM, we have the PlayStation social. No assist social organised by our lovely PSGL champion from last season, Sparks, and it's going to be commentated by Noah Clark and Phoenix. Thursday at 7 p.m. We have the social race on PC, and that'll be commentated by the one and only Dan in the commentary box there. So who knows, we may see some names from tonight in his lobby as well on Thursday. So excited to see that one. And on Thursday, the big one, we got the PC Esports Invitational at 8 p.m. as well, around Belgium too, with the best of the best taking part, including Avara Carton in the lobby as well, and some other names as well. More information to be revealed within the coming days. Now be commentated by George Morgan and our PC coordinator at PSGL, Maka, as well. So good below those two to be united. But we're going to wrap up the stream from myself, Jessica Ball, and Dan Field. It's been a pleasure. We will see you on Wednesday for the next PSGL stream at 8 p.m. on PlayStation around Austria, and for PC around Belgium on Thursday. We will leave you with the outro. Have a good evening, everybody, and goodbye.